Can you hear my tummy rumbling?
Yes, that was
wow,
funny.
I just heard that.
Okay, maybe don't set the mic on my tummy.
We'll get some dinner afterwards, shall we?
Yes, we should.
I think mine keeps cutting out.
Oh,
There might be
no.
some issues, but let's hope for the best.
Okay. I was about to say I've heard you okay so far, but I don't know whether you said other stuff that I didn't hear, so who knows.
Did you hear me recite Beowulf as I promised to do?
No, I didn't get the whole of Beowulf.
Oh. Oh well. I'm not doing it again.
Oh, God damn it. I think I'm ready to start when you guys are.
I am?
Yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, excellent. Off we go.
Okay. Today's film was Another Round. Who picked this?
That was me.
That was you?
Yes.
Why did you pick Another Round?
So I saw this in the cinema back in June or something, whenever it came out.
Yeah.
In the UK, I think. And I decided that I wanted everyone I knew to see it for some reason. I don't really remember why, but it's been on my mind since then, and I was waiting for it to come out on the UK streaming sites, and it's taken a long time. But eventually I noticed it had appeared, and I was like, oh, great, it's time for another round.
Hey.
That's good.
Also, I thought that this was perhaps what you might call a good film. And I'm starting to get a bit of a reputation in the film club for just picking
bad films.
Well, I don't know if you call them bad films, certainly. A certain kind of film.
Bad kind.
No, overall, you don't pick the worst films in the world, but Highlander was worth like 3 or 4.
Yeah, that really did some damage.
Brought your
there.
Average down a lot.
It did, yeah. No, I don't understand why.
However, this was a very different sort of film, as you say, and maybe it was a good film. Did you think it was a good film, Claire?
I did. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very entertaining film, and that's all I'll share for the moment.
Very good.
Okay. Fernando?
Yes, I liked it. This is the second time that I'm watching it. It was a good film, yes. Laura recommended it when she watched it a few months ago. And I was like, I'll take your recommendation. And I did watch it, also at the cinema.
Oh, very cool.
You didn't recommend it to me, Laura.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think she did mention it in one of the, episodes that we were recording.
There you go. Really weren't listening to me.
No, I'm choosing to be offended. I'm sticking with it.
What did you think, Michael?
Cool.
I thought it was great.
Oh,
I thought it was a really good film.
Oh.
And I got a lot out of it. Very very bleak in parts. Sort of noir a little bit. But also very good fun at the same time.
Oh, fantastic.
I would compare it to a few films we've watched recently. One of which is...
I would compare it favourably with Highlander.
Exactly. Yeah, that comparison would not take long. No, I would compare it with Requiem for a Dream.
Whoa.
And I would also, and I would compare it with the drum film.
Whiplash. Yes, I was going to say this.
And I think it came off better in both comparisons.
This is why I'm slightly surprised that you liked it, because I thought when I saw the end again, I was like, oh, I wonder if this ending is quite similar to Whiplash, isn't it? Because it's just so, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, so we can talk about the ending.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
And I was, so the ending is maybe not the best part of this film for me.
Really? It's my absolute favourite. This is typical.
Oh, what
I
are you
loved the
talking
ending.
about?
This is possibly my favourite end to a film ever.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I just was buzzed off of it. When I came out of the cinema, I was like, I'm going to go get some wine.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
It was just so joyful. And just the dancing was amazing. Incredible.
Was it joyful?
I think
didn't
it's a
feel
good
joyful.
point for me to say that I also like the ending.
Wow.
What did you like about the ending,
I also
Fernando?
felt joyful. Well, that as in they clearly made some mistakes, but then they took it too far. But once you know that you've taken it too far, there's no. I guess that some people just stop doing the thing that I guess led them to making a mistake. But you don't have to stop. You just have to be a little bit more careful with it instead of censoring yourself completely. Yes, that's what I like.
Be a bit more careful with it by like downing a whole load of stuff in the street and then jumping into the sea.
Yes.
Wait, they were not as drunk. Or at least he was not as drunk as he had been in previous parts of the film.
No, but he was just... I got the impression he was just getting started.
Maybe. I have an
He
interpretation.
was drunk,
was
but
that
not
scene
on
going to
alcohol.
end?
He was drunk on life.
Yes, I agree.
He had quite a lot of alcohol as well.
I think they had to have that. I thought it was beautiful that they had him jump into the sea. Well, not beautiful, but it moved me a bit, and I was like, oh, fantastic. What a great way to end. Because it's such a nice parallel where you've got the joy of alcohol and the absolute, intoxicating thing about it that makes it so great. But then on the other hand, the other friend, the way that he died, so there's a specific kind of mirroring going on there, which I think is why they... they're not trying to moralize or say that you can never have alcohol or get drunk or have fun or anything like that. It's just an exploration of all this spectrum. I can't believe, did you not... What did you think of the end then?
I had a pit in my stomach for the end.
Oh.
What about you, Claire?
Yeah, I thought they'd learned nothing from their experience.
Yeah.
I thought
that's because there's nothing to be learned.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So he actually died from alcohol abuse, essentially. And they were sort of celebrating his memory. They went and had a load to, like, some amount to drink. And it was just this tipping over, they can start by having a beer in his memory. That's nice. Then they got some champagne at the restaurant and they were downing it, pretty hard. And then they start celebrating the street with spirits and stuff. And at each step I was thinking, like, they're going from a nice beer to celebrate someone's memory and creeping. Every single one of these drinks is creeping towards just the kind of alcohol abuse that killed this guy and that ruined his, sort of ruined his marriage, damaged his work life, all of that. And he was getting these texts from his wife. The good ending for me was, the champagne comes out. He looks at his phone, sees this message from his wife wanting to get back with him, and he says, do you know what? I won't have a drink today. I need to go and talk to someone. And he goes and sees the wife and gets back with her and has a happy family life. But instead he just gets, like, wasted in the street. What happens later on? What happens if his wife turns up and, like, is saying, right, well, this has been really, really rough and we've hurt each other a lot, but I want to try and make things work again. And he's just got wasted after the funeral of his best friend. I thought potentially what he was doing in that scene was throwing his life away. It was terrible.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I see your point. That reading sounds fair enough, I suppose. That's just not how I took it at all.
Right.
So interesting.
Yeah, I thought you could actually strip away this film from same with Whiplash. It wasn't really about drumming. It wasn't really about alcohol. He had these problems already, and alcohol has brought everything out to the fore, and then he had that really low moment. But it's not saying you should never drink, or I think it was like Fernando said, it's about life, isn't it? It's about joy and life, and it's a tribute to alcohol.
I suppose if you ignore 3/4 of the film, then yeah.
But the whole film, that's what it was about. It was just the spectrum, I think. It wasn't like Requiem for a Dream, where everything was just, we're meant to say, oh my God, alcohol's terrible, isn't it? It was quite nuanced, I think. It showed the really harmful effects of just over drinking and addiction and things like that, what was becoming an addiction. But it showed the lighter stuff as well at the beginning and things like that. And it wasn't saying that their path was inevitable. I think that's why the ending was good, I think, because it wasn't black and white, was it? It was very ambiguous.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean, my
Mads
impression
Mikkelsen.
was...
sorry.
Mads Mikkelsen.
You know Mads Mikkelsen, the main character, the main actor in this. He said that the film was a tribute to alcohol. So, it's not meant to be like a moralizing tale. It's just a tribute to alcohol and the joys and griefs of it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it certainly showed some of the good sides of it. But not much. A little, right? But it showed how dangerous it was. I thought their conclusion in the end, in their study, which was this has some positive effects, but it should not be pursued because of the dangers of social damage and alcoholism. I thought that seemed like that was the conclusion, but maybe not.
Well, I don't know.
It's just like, I guess it's the same with every film that sort of ends without a neat bow on it. Did he get back together with Annika?
I guess we don't know for certain, but it sounds like...
Does no one else care?
I just took it as kind of a given that they would get back together.
They would get back together even though she cheated on him and she is maybe developing an alcohol problem herself?
Oh, that's not how I took that either.
Yeah?
I didn't get that she was developing an alcohol problem. What did I miss?
Well, maybe you can say, Laura.
Do you mean when she had one glass of wine at their meeting?
Yeah, well, when she turned up for a meeting, immediately demanded a glass of wine, despite knowing that he had an alcohol problem, and then, downed it in sort of a minute while crying, and then stormed out. That I thought that was meant to be a hint towards that, she has a damaging relationship with alcohol as well.
Oh, I thought, okay, so I have 3 thoughts on this. 1, maybe, because there's not a lot of women in the film, maybe it was the kind of director being like, see, women drink too. Maybe not, though. That seems unlikely.
Yeah.
2, she's so angry at him, she's kind of like, I dare you, I'm going to drink, I dare you to drink because you're an alcoholic, so fuck you, I'm having a drink right now because I can.
Yeah.
Sort of thing of where they're at in their relationship. Or it's just showing, again, because if we take it as this kind of tribute to alcohol, it's just kind of showing that alcohol is this kind of cushion and crutch, and in a bad way still, but this emotional kind of thing that people do. If it's trying to trace out it's trying to be a realist approach to alcohol, then I think it's quite, it's not unrealistic that she would, if very stressed, have a glass of wine, finish it quite quickly, and then run out of there.
Yeah.
People are complicated. Maybe that's just it. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was trying to say... Or maybe it was just making a social commentary that people in Denmark are way too dependent on alcohol. It seemed to kind of hint towards that as well. At times.
Yeah.
Anyway, someone else's thoughts on that.
I can't quite decide.
Yeah, so I didn't think that was her. I thought it was a middle finger to him.
Right.
I thought that was, we're meeting up in a bar at lunchtime, I'm going to have a glass of wine. Just because you're weak doesn't mean I have to change my life.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't see that as a dependency. Thought it was maybe a bit mean.
Which is quite a cruel thing to do.
Yeah.
It was the sort of cruelty we didn't really see in her character otherwise.
Yeah, she was very angry with him, though. Angry people do nasty things.
I guess so.
Why did you think the end was? Why did you find the end joyful, Fernando?
Precisely because I thought they were drinking alcohol in a different way that they had been drinking it. I thought they were drinking alcohol in a way that was a little bit more controlled, and that the joy that they were experiencing was not mainly due to alcohol, but because of a deeper understanding of their relationship to alcohol and what it can do to their lives, and maybe made them appreciate life a little bit better. I guess it reminded me of the speech the little speech that the student was giving for his final exam, that only by having failed will you have deeper or be more grateful for life, and because you failed, you'll be able to feel a little bit more love, and in that way they know that they have failed because they were having having a negative impact on the people that surround them. Now they know that they have failed, but they also know that it doesn't have to be that way, as in alcohol can still be a part of their lives. And it can enhance their happiness, but it doesn't have to control their lives.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I can see that.
That would be a nice interpretation. I think I'm with you. I think that's what I took away from it as well. But I don't know if I was just all keyed up because I really enjoyed the song and the dancing. And I was like, oh, wow, you're right. Let's drink. Maybe an argument more on the Michael side. I don't know if I agree with this or not, but there was that one moment where he was going to quit. Do you remember after they have the nice canoe trip with his family? And then they decide to go to take it further and like drink until they pass out, sort of thing. And he's like about to walk out the door. Yeah. And then he just gets pulled back in, and it's like this slow sort of seductive. Maybe that they were on the cusp of not drinking again at the end, but it was just too enticing.
That was exactly what I felt watching it. I thought that those scenes were mirrors of each other. It was the same thought.
But why did they make it so joyful?
Because it's fun, isn't it? Getting drunk's really fun.
Yeah, maybe that's just it. They're just doing this realist portrayal of it. And I still don't think it needs to be this moral. I think they've done it really well, where they've just balanced it so nicely. And they're like, alcohol is really fun sometimes, guys.
Yeah. I guess I didn't see how you could get to the end of the film and not think they'd all be better off without alcohol. It just seemed to be a damaging thing from the way they portrayed it. Though I certainly think people can enjoy alcohol in a sensible way. It was a warning of the excesses, right?
Wait, even if you can enjoy alcohol in a different way, I'm under the understanding, maybe the mistaken understanding, that any amount of alcohol is harmful to your body. But having said that, there are so many things that we do that are harmful to our body, but we still do them because we like them. So it's just a matter of us understanding the consequences that consuming or putting certain things into our bodies, the effect that putting certain things into our bodies have on us, and deciding whether that is worth it or not. Whether the fun that we get from them is worth the harm that we are doing to ourselves.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that way as well, it's really individual, isn't it? It's like about making choices for yourself. And that's what I think the film was trying to do as well. It wasn't trying to show this like about the substance. It was about them as individuals. So they all were impacted completely differently. So for instance, like Peter didn't suffer that many negative consequences. But one of them clearly was becoming the one who died. I can't remember his name now. Tommy.
That was Tommy, wasn't it?
Just clearly had it way worse. Couldn't handle it. I don't know. Yeah, it's difficult. I don't know if that was saying that he was just more. Maybe he was just more lonely. Maybe we were meant to take from him solitude. He seemed to live a particularly lonely life.
So I thought of the sorts of things that you've said before about drug addiction, Laura. There seems to be some theme in this film of alcohol revealing problems that are already there.
Yeah.
And I think he was lonely. He lived on his own, and he didn't have a job that he liked. Or people to share his life with, and it seemed like that was why it affected him badly. That was why he couldn't get off the alcohol when the others were doing it, and it ended up, possibly claiming his life. And it was sort of a similar thing for, what did you say? Peter wasn't too badly affected, whereas Martin. His marriage ended, or maybe ended, but the reason his marriage ended, as Annika even said, was, I don't know, some shit about you're not present anymore. But she'd had an affair, which no one ever needed to find out about, and they could have lived their whole lives happily. But because of the way things went, it seemed like it was revealing problems that were already there rather than simply causing problems. To some extent, however, also, it caused him to, get his face fucked up and stuff like that wouldn't have happened. But I wonder if that was a point they were trying to make.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think they did quite a good job of very quickly showing us that their lives were, that it was so permeated by boredom and melancholy and just loneliness.
Yeah.
That these problems were pre-existing. It wasn't alcohol that caused them. Alcohol initially, sort of, one of the effects of it was countering that, and, they had something fun and new and were bonding and things like that. But could also then exacerbate them a lot more, which I think is very, you're right, it overlaps a lot with things like heroin addiction. But that's why I also think that it wasn't really trying to be a moral tale about it's drinking to excess, or why it's not even really about alcohol. It was about their own lives and who they were, and them having this sort of midlife crisis of masculinity. Or not masculinity, what am I saying? Well, I think it was about midlife masculinity, but I don't think it was a crisis of masculinity per se. But maybe we can get onto that as well. But I think that's why they had this... why the end was trying, in my opinion, trying to make it seem joyful, even though they were binging again. Because it wasn't really about the binging or the drinking or anything like that. It was about their social problems and social lives and things like that.
Yeah. And if they could do it on their own terms and with a sense of joy and perspective, then it's okay.
Yeah. No, if it's okay, it doesn't have to, it's neither good nor bad. It's just a thing that people do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Like Whiplash. Just sit back and enjoy the music. Don't think about it.
Yeah. It's just about drums.
It's not about drums.
It's not about drums.
Nothing to do with drums. Yeah.
So why did we think that it was a good film if we are so conflicted about the ending?
I just thought it was really entertaining. I thought, I think the joy that you're talking about in the final scene, I enjoyed watching the silly dancing and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting. See, you've got me thinking now, because it was when they were trying to control their consumption that it got out of hand. But it's like they had to take it too far for them to learn their lesson or something. I don't know. But it was just, I just thought the idea, it just seemed like a fun idea to try, being that amount of drunk. in daily life. It sounds fun.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of fun in the first half, wasn't it? Like, it was just quite... It was amusing.
Yeah, I think that opening scene with the kids running around the park, I thought that was just great. That was just...
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Oh, God, we've misread that as well. That I thought that so the opening scene sort of before the title credits, when it's just the lake run, I thought that was meant to show us, like, the squalor that can come out of things. Because to start with, is good fun. They're all having fun running around a lake, but then they're throwing up. That's not good. They're exhausting themselves. Then they're like going on trains, causing a nuisance, like upsetting people with families. They're like committing these crimes, like handcuffing someone to a door on a train like that. This stuff is not good fun larks. This is like serious. Like, I guess they use the phrase antisocial behaviour, don't they? That's
God, you sound just like
what
the
it
teacher.
is. Yeah, but the teacher's got a point when it's stuff like that. Like, if kids want to, particularly 16, 17-year-olds in Denmark, whatever, if they want to, have a few beers, have a bit of fun, have a party, whatever, that's one thing. But causing, like, when that's feeding into them causing harm to other people, it's not good. And so I thought that opening scene was like, look, here's an example of it going wrong. Now let's watch these four guys and see what happens. But you guys were thinking, oh, that looks like fun.
Not that it looked like fun, although it did look like fun at the beginning. I think I got a bit of like, oh no, why is he handcuffing that man? But also, I didn't take it totally seriously. And then I liked that there was an old woman on the train that they were giving drinks to and like having fun with, and she didn't seem upset. She seemed like she was enjoying it as well. So I thought it was just...
Okay, so they're showing both sides again. Yeah. So when I heard... In fact, Claire, when we asked you to start with, you said, I thought it was entertaining. I liked it. Whenever someone says it's entertaining, there's a bit of subtext there, isn't there? That, like, as if you're going to finish the sentence with, but it wasn't, like, North by Northwest or whatever. I'm trying to think of a worthy film now. That, like, somehow it didn't have depth and it was just a bit of fun and then let's get on with our lives. But I felt like there was a lot that this was saying.
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean it like in a sort of backhanded way or anything.
Okay.
I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun idea to explore.
Yeah, but you say the same thing about like Click with Adam Sandler.
That's not entertaining, I have to say.
That was not entertaining in the end. But it's a fun idea to explore. But are you saying it was also, like, did it make you think? Was it a good film?
Was it a good film? I don't really know what that means.
Drilling down into the sophisticated questions. Was the thing good?
Yeah, it was a good film. It took an idea. It was well done. Well acted. The script was good.
Did it have a gravitas, Claire?
Do you know, I'm feeling more and more like Hector. Like, literature.
Yes.
It was a good film. It said stuff. It was entertaining. I don't know if it needs gravitas or a message.
Yeah. And not every film does. But some films are only good because they have those things. Yeah.
But some films are good because they're just good.
Yeah, to return to Fernando's question about why I enjoyed it, I love Mads Mikkelsen, and that can be enough.
That is true.
I don't think I've seen a film with him in before.
Have you not? Wait, have you not seen Casino Royale?
I know who he is. I know who he looks like. Oh, he was in Casino Royale.
He's the villain who cries blood.
Oh, so he is. Yeah, I hadn't noticed.
He was also in Bitch Better Have My Money from Rihanna.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that.
It's a music video?
It's a music video,
Oh,
yes.
okay. Interesting.
Good stuff. I know during the European Championship over the summer, he put up a tweet after England beat Denmark saying, "Can't believe we lost to the beans on toast people." That made me respect him to some extent.
Yeah. He's great. I love him.
Yeah, okay.
Is his brother Lars Mikkelsen?
I don't know who that is.
The guy from Sherlock.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you know the one that was in Borgen, Michael?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that guy.
Because, Mikkelsen, that doesn't sound like a very common surname, I reckon.
Oh, hang on, that was a character in Borgen, right?
No, he was called, Magnuson or something. The actor is called Lars Mikkelsen, the one that was in Sherlock, I think.
Oh, sure, okay. Lars Mikkelsen.
Lovely Mads Mikkelsen.
He was really good in this.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like am I like the guy reading like a Garfield comic in a newspaper saying, "Oh, what is this trying to say to us?" And you guys are just like, "Yeah, it's just a joke."
No, I don't think it's a joke. I don't think it's a.
Was this a light-hearted
film? It won an
film?
Oscar.
Yeah.
Not that means much. I mean, the Oscars are pretty shit these days.
Well, it had a Cannes thing at the start of it, didn't it?
Yeah, that's proper.
Yeah.
Well, they won't let us go, so can't be that proper.
One day.
I think the most important question is, will it win a secret film Oscar?
Well, that's what everyone's dying to know. But, dear listeners, you'll just have to wait and see.
Press just won't shut up about it.
It might for me. I genuinely love it. But then it ticks all the boxes for me because I like watching men bonding for some reason.
Yeah, I've got male bonding written down here.
Ritual
I thought that
alcohol bonding, great.
Yeah.
But I love seeing 4 pals, 4 friends just hanging out, becoming closer, becoming good buds. Nice.
Drinking Sazeracs. I did really want a Sazerac while we were watching.
I wanted pretty much all the alcohol that they were drinking throughout. God, they did show a lot of alcohol. Did the champagne and beer and
who had a drink while we were watching it?
I watched it this morning, so no.
Okay, Laura didn't have a drink. Fernando?
No. I mean, I was having coffee, but no alcohol.
Okay. Did you fancy a drink?
For sure. And as I said last time in the cinema, I went straight out and bought a bottle of wine.
Nice. Oh, very good.
I was finishing my cocktail when we...
You were finishing your cocktail, yeah.
Oh, did you drink through it? That's a good way to do it.
No, I had made a pre-dinner cocktail and still had a little bit left when the film started.
I see.
I had a single malt whiskey that I sipped very gently. I probably had about half a unit or even 1 unit across the whole film. I was very, very gradual with it. Maybe I was being put off. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a Sazerac tonight. I think we deserve that.
What is that again?
It's brandy. Should be cognac, but whatever brandy, with a little sugar and just a few drops of Peychaud's bitters, which is a bizarre, like very specific thing that, as far as I know, is only used for making Sazeracs. But it's a bit like aromatic bitters, but it has like aniseed notes in it.
Okay, that sounds nice.
And you do that with lots of ice and, yes, a slice of lemon peel I've always done, but I guess they were doing orange peel.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Do you still do your cocktail blog?
A little. The things I don't really repeat recipes on there. So once you've...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I did the first 50 posts and then that's 50 recipes. That's probably going to be enough to last me forever. But yeah, in principle, I'll still do it.
Oh, cool.
I've got a couple of drafts ready to go.
Nice.
I need to finish them off. I like my cocktail blood.
Me too.
Mainly, I use it just as like a reference for recipes now. If I just can't remember how I made it that one time, I look at that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it works out.
I'd like a cocktail now.
Oh, should we just take a 5-minute break?
Oh, we could do. No, better not. I don't want to risk the laptop dying.
Yes, okay.
Also, I'm at my mum's house, so it'd be a bit weird if I went downstairs, made a cocktail without speaking to anyone, then left again.
Yeah, I can see that.
Especially when I've been like, don't disturb me.
You need to get like a water bottle with vodka in it, like they were doing in the film.
Yeah. Trying to get any
that did make me chuckle.
Some of the trying to drink my own special drink.
Yeah, I did like it.
So I did wonder about him giving some booze to the guy before his exam.
Oh yeah.
What did we think of that?
I didn't know what to make of that, to be honest. I wondered if that was the film also being like, here's a tick for alcohol, look, it can calm you down. But then surely we're not meant to think it's a good idea for teachers to give their students booze before an exam, especially. Oh geez,
I guess not.
A bad relationship there. I don't know.
But it did seem to be clear that the student actually knew his stuff. He just lacked confidence. And so, getting that confidence. And that was one example where there was just no bad outcome, was there? He actually started, getting a bit more confident, and then he passed the exam in the end, and all was well. So I don't know.
Maybe it's just ambiguous. It's like, not always if you make a bad decision, something bad's going to happen. Like life. Sometimes you just get away with shit. I don't know.
Does that make it not a bad decision? Or
well, no, exactly. It's still a bad decision, but I've made plenty of bad decisions that I've gotten away with.
I suppose if this guy would have failed his exam otherwise, it was a good decision. Because the guy, there was a good outcome.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Is that what we call a results-oriented point of view? That was an interesting thought, though, and that was, I guess, one of the few things that's making me see this film from the other perspective, which is that we are meant to think, oh, alcohol's good in the end, or it's fine in the end. It was tricky, though. There was a lot to think about.
Certainly gave us a lot of different scenarios that had very confusing outcomes versus actions outcomes sort of thing. It kind of flipped your expectations a bit, maybe that's what it was doing. But yeah, I didn't know about that bit. I mean, it made me kind of happy. I was like, oh, good for the student, well done, have a good old drink, have a big swig of vodka. We've all been there. Some of us have been there.
So I have a question. They do this thing where we see it's explained very well how they hit on this idea of staying at 0.5 and it boosts their confidence, it does this and that, and it seems to be working out. Then they say, let's take it up to 1.0 or vary according to the individual. And we see that develop as well. And we sort of see, they could keep it up at a higher level, couldn't they? But I didn't get why they did the let's all drink completely to oblivion today thing. Because they obviously couldn't keep that up. They obviously weren't going to do that at work. I didn't see what they were trying to prove or what they were trying to understand by doing that. Did anyone get why that was, or was it like a weak plot device?
They did rationalise it in the film, didn't they?
I didn't get it.
There was some, I don't remember now, but there was some rationale for it.
I think it was, so they were trying to, they rationalised it. I think, first of all, I think it's reasonable that they wanted to, that you want to keep getting higher and higher and higher. The idea was not that they were going to maintain this. It was just to see what I think the word was like emancipatory that they used in the film, of like what it would, I think it was just a bit of excitement and getting carried away. and being like, do you ever want to just drink until, you know,
yeah, I guess I see.
Really drunk.
So they just sort of slipped into it a bit, and they were never intending for it to be a big part of the study or whatever. And I guess they made the decision while they were drunk, right?
Oh, were they drunk when they made? I can't remember.
Were they already tipsy when they decided? I can't
they were
remember
talking about it. I don't know if they'd had a drink yet, but they were talking about this ignition idea. You know, where they were like, "We've reached whatever that philosopher said, that we're always taking ourselves to the point of ignition and hovering around that, but what if we like kicked it up a gear again just to see what's going to happen and like how we feel and things like that."
I see.
But yeah, I don't know. Fernando, what do you think?
I think it was just inertia. They were already doing something and they're like, well, we're enjoying this. Maybe this is no longer for the sake of the experiment.
Maybe it was that.
This is just for our personal enjoyment.
Yeah, that's what it looked like a good night out, though. I had to say. I wanted to be on it with them.
Oh, really?
Oh, fantastic. I thought it was a fantastic. I thought it was a good mirror image to the night out they have the next night, where it's like they're actually on their own and they're just being sick and falling over and having a terrible time, to this one where it's like they're in the pub and they're all singing and they're up on the bar and then they're running home. Or I don't know. I genuinely we have really opposing. I found it quite funny when they were trying to fish.
That was funny.
And when they were in the shop was a bit funny, even though it was a little uncomfortable and awkward. I still had a chuckle when he Tommy just waved at the guy like, "Oh, let's get out of here." And then they were fishing, which was funny.
Yeah, I'm not getting it. I mean, there were some jokes in there, like them fishing and all of that, but like. They were like harassing people, they were stealing stuff, they were smashing things, walking into stuff, clearly making a lot of people uncomfortable. And just being destructive it's that kind of thing that like gives alcohol a bad name. Like most people can enjoy alcohol sensibly, but then this kind of occasional binge drinking tied together with a sort of fuck you attitude, results in just a trail of destruction behind them.
Yeah, maybe, and it did end badly. I suppose that was the night where it really took a turn.
Yeah, so I wasn't keen on that. How did you feel about that one, Claire?
It's tough, isn't it? I don't think they were necessarily doing anything like terrible. I thought they were kind of rude to the guy in the supermarket. But like you say, they were smashing stuff and leaving a trail of destruction.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's how I understood it.
It was them like yelling at the barmaid to distract her and then stealing the bottle from behind the bar.
I thought that was really funny. Cheeky fun.
And dancing on the table and stuff. Like it's kind of fine in a film, I guess. But like if I was in a pub where that was happening, I would get out of there. Someone dancing on a table, you don't know what's going to happen. Someone's going to fall over. Like he was totally out of control up on the table there. He was like 50. If he'd fallen down,
he could have... He's a very athletic man, Michael.
Broken his neck or something. He's not.
He is. He's a dancer.
We saw him dancing.
Exactly.
Jazz tap.
That's what he was
jazz
doing.
Ballet.
Amazing. The best dancer in the world.
Yeah, no, I wasn't getting it.
I don't know. I suppose because none of it was angry, I don't have the same like visceral response that you're having. Like if he'd get caught stealing those bottles, he would just have sat them down.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have started a fight over it. He was just he saw an opportunity to do something funny and did it because his inhibitions were lowered.
Yeah, but like it was funny and it's also like wrong, right? Like you can't just steal stuff from supermarkets and bars.
Nah. I don't mind it. Not that I would do it, but it was funny. So I think it's fine.
Well, that's it. Like from the perspective of a film, so I'm thinking like Claire and I knew some people at uni who weren't students here, but would come and visit one of our friends, and therefore would stay in our house. And it was basically like bacchanalian, like what's the word? They were hedonists, basically. They were doing this kind of stuff that you see in films. They were drinking more than they could handle, dancing on tables, stealing stuff, anything that wasn't nailed down from anywhere. They would just steal because it's funny. And so then we've got all this crap in our house when they leave, and that's from that pub. They're going to have to replace that. That's from a building site. They're going to have to replace that. Just every one of these tiny little things that like gives them a laugh for 10 seconds and actually ruins someone else's day. It's kind of the reason we can't have nice things is because people act like really irresponsibly like this. And invariably it would end up with someone saying something to someone else and someone would get offended and bitch about it and everyone would cry forever or smash something or throw something at someone. And there was just no sense of having we heard these stories later of them like going to a city in Germany and all of them got arrested for like stealing the baby Jesus from a nativity scene or something. That's like, if that's in a film, that's funny, but also this is like the centerpiece of this city's like you can't do it. It's really bad. And I thought they were trying to get that across in the film as well, that like these guys are out of control and they feel like they're having a good time. But as I say, I was watching it with a pit in my stomach thinking, God, there's so many consequences to everything they're doing here. It didn't, none of that stuff was something that I could read as a harmless good time. That's my point of view.
Well then.
Old man yells at cloud.
I see your point. I would find it incredibly irritating if I was in a pub like that. Well, if people were stealing from like Aikman or something.
I have left.
Not cool. But in the context of the film, I thought it was just good fun, to be fair. I think we had very different viewing experiences, it sounds like. I was along for the ride, what can I say?
There we are. Yeah, I guess that's good. I think the thing that I'm surprised by is that by the sound of it, we were meant to just go along with it as a film and say, oh, this is funny, roll with it. That maybe it was something about the staging or like the slightly Spartan way that they cut the dialogue and things. It seemed like it was something I was meant to be like watching people laughing and having a good time, but thinking, oh God, this is kind of terrible.
Well, like
I don't know.
That's your interpretation, and that's fine.
I guess so.
It
does. I am interested to know what they were trying to do, though, or whether they really were trying to make it ambiguous in that way.
I don't know either. What is it you always say, Fernando, about art and the viewer and the artist and whatnot?
Yes, those who read beneath the symbol do so at their own risk.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
I have a few other thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
What do we think of some of the more minor characters, specifically the wives?
Yes, I was going to bring this up as well.
Who was the bearded man?
The bearded man?
Nikolai? I don't know.
Nikolai. Nikolai. Who had the little boy who was always wetting the bed. Yeah, that's Nikolai.
Oh, so annoying.
God, I hated Nikolai's wife.
Yes, I know.
She was horrible.
Yeah, okay.
But also justified, so I'm annoyed at the film for that reason, I think.
Okay.
Why was she horrible? What?
Oh, she was just a bitch.
Well, I've got several... for want of another word, yeah.
That's misogyny, so, let's pick a gender-neutral word, but she...
like she shouts at him in front of kids who need to be protected from that kind of thing. Every little thing she was asking him to do was asked with no respect and with no consideration for his feelings. Super passive aggressive, just rushing around, not a moment or a hint of kindness or concern for him. And more importantly, for her children, it was stuff like he had come back, as they all did, completely off his face, totally wasted. And her reaction was to shout and scream while there were kids in the room, like, who were visibly upset. She needed to, keep it together, take them out of them. And then she, like, when he was in that state, she needed to put him on his side, turn the light out and let him sleep and have a serious conversation with him in the morning. Instead, she yelled at him, screamed, like, stormed out of the room with the light on, with, like, no way for him to go back to sleep. It seemed just so spiteful and so, just wrong to everyone. And it was sad. And I think that must have been kind of deliberate to have her as a sort of reverse image of Annika, who was not like that, who was dealing with honestly the same sort of thing, but who mostly was able to be a grown-up about things. And it was interesting having that comparison between the two wives. Did you feel differently though, Claire?
I mean, she woke up in the middle of the night and her husband had wet the bed. It was pretty fair that she was pretty angry about that.
Yeah.
I'd be annoyed. Yeah.
I think anyone would be annoyed, and he ought to do better. But the way she reacted to it was so counter, like the opposite of helpful, and the opposite of what anyone needed.
You can't always behave rationally. Sometimes you're just angry
but I think it fits in with how we're meant to see the rest of her character as just this passive aggressive person who's just frustrating what he wants. I don't know. I didn't think she was written particularly well. I thought she was just entirely detestable, which is a bit misogynistic. And I'm not sure that the film did women very well in general.
I think you're right.
I mean, it was fun to have someone to hate and be like, oh my God, what a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if we were meant to be reading this as like fish. She's...
she said to get the fresh fish, all right? Just...
The thought at the back of my mind was this like Dark Waters.
Yes, I had that thought
where
as well.
We're meant to be on her side and we're meant to think like, oh yeah, he's driven her to yell, look at how upset she is with him. Where actually I was just sitting there going like, oh my God, you're so dreadful. But again, having Annika there, who was the more human character with maybe a bit more of a dimension behind her, was good. And she had a breaking point and she had a yelling at him point, but she also tried. You could see how they kind of worked as a couple and how she was somebody that you could live with.
Yeah, I liked Anna. They made Annika quite... Well, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I just liked her. I thought she was cool. In
the end, I somewhat disliked her.
Really?
Yeah, but I had to think about it. She was human. She had good sides and bad sides. You liked her in the end, Laura?
Yeah, I did, yeah. But yeah, this is where I think the film... I mean, it was about men, which is fine. It's about 4 male friends who are high school, blah, blah, blah. But I think you've got to be a bit more careful when you still have women. So the women didn't drink, which is weird. So no... we kind of saw the female students, I suppose, they drank, and then the wife had a glass of alcohol at the end. But as you say, I think that you could read into that was just spite, or maybe it was just about alcohol, whatever. Other than that, though, so we had the 2 wives who were just telling them off for drinking all the time. We had the barmaid who was just angry at them for being so drunk. fair.
Yeah.
And then the head teacher, who was also just trying to sniff out the fair again, but didn't like her. So yeah. And then
were they all killjoys?
That's what I'm wondering. Were they meaning to paint them all as just big killjoys? I don't know if they did, because I don't think it is necessarily a pattern. I think because the barmaid is such a natural character, like we're not meant to see her as a big. Oh, maybe we are. I don't know.
She barely spoke.
She was just clearly annoyed at them, and that was very fair. I suppose we had the woman on the train at the start who was like happy to be swept up in the fun and have a drink with the student.
Yeah. But all very minor.
All very, very minor. I don't know.
Yeah, there were also minor male characters who were killjoys. The police at the start were all men.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The guy who found the alcohol stash in the gym.
Yeah, I think
that's
basically
true.
Every other character was a killjoy.
That's true. I don't think it was necessarily a commentary on women. Not that it would have meant to be, but I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think it's just because there were no women involved in the fun.
It was really focusing on the four guys and then the students as this example, this sort of symbol of wider Danish culture, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it was having a little bit of a look at midlife masculinity.
Yeah.
Of them all just reaching this slump as men and then being revitalizing each other.
So people buy a sports car or a motorbike, don't they? That's the like classic what men do when they get to 40, 45. And I guess this was a nice twist on that.
Day drinking.
So I guess that leads us to two more thoughts. One is it possible that there's something in it? Is it possible that maintaining a blood alcohol of 0.5 during work, if you just leave it at that and don't go any further and you stop as soon as you finish work, is it possible that could actually make things better?
I think so. I'm great fun after 2 glasses of wine. But much like they said in the film, I could never just stop there, so it wouldn't work for me.
Right. Yeah, is that the flaw in it, that you can't actually keep it at the right level?
Yeah, there's always this feeling that more will enhance the current effect rather than send it into...
Yeah, I always make that mistake.
Yeah, me too. Get too excited.
Yeah, I know that one.
I think there could be something to be said for people just being a bit less inhibited in life, and we always joke in the lab that like you have like Magner's ideas, or what is it they call it, the Bulmer point, where you're like at your best and most creative after 2 pints of Bulmers or something like that.
Oh, it's good. Like that. Have you seen the Mitchell and Webb sketch?
Yes, so that's what I was thinking about.
This film was basically that, wasn't it? It was like...
Yeah.
I'll have to send it round after if you've not seen it.
Yeah, I don't know what you...
Can you summarise it, Laura?
Is it a secret society? I can't remember, it's been ages since I watched it, but there's a secret society where they have like just below 2 pints is like the ideal amount to achieve everything, and they like induct someone into the society, and it's but the point of 2 pints is the point where it just all goes to shit. I don't know if that was a good...
Beyond 2 pints lies kebabs.
It's very funny though.
Yeah, it's a good sketch. And yeah, I guess has basically the same message, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That you can do wonderful things at that level, but there's always a temptation to take it too far.
Speaking of which, just below 2 pints is the ideal amount for me to be able to stop.
Okay.
Personally speaking, if I have 2, I want a 3rd. And if I want a 3rd, it's over for everyone.
Everyone loses.
Everyone loses. Me most of all. Actually, no. Probably other people most of all. Terrible drunk.
Can be. What do you reckon, Fernando? Are you gonna take up a 0.5% lifestyle?
I don't think so. Just because I think that moderation doesn't exist for me. Maybe that's also the reason why I am, like, I guess, totally plant-based, because apparently there is little difference between eating just a little bit of meat or animal in terms of health and eating mostly plant-based. But I know that if I eat just a little bit of meat, then I'll say, okay, maybe I can also have a steak tomorrow. And then I will mostly be eating animals instead of plants. So moderation in my life is unachievable. So I have to commit to something in order to do that something.
You go cold turkey.
I
go cold turkey, yes, maybe.
Ironically.
Yes. So I admire the people that can do moderation. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's a no from Fernando. What about you, Michael?
I think for the same reason I would say no. I think there's something in that's kind of cool. But aside from the social pressure, it would be, it feels like a step down the wrong path, and it could be a path that's difficult to stop going down. What about you, Claire?
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to be in the lab with a 0.05% blood alcohol level.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, I kind of believe in the whole Hemingway write drunk, edit sober thing.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for that.
Lowering inhibitions.
Yeah. You need to stop second guessing yourself and sometimes just write it or just say it. But I think there are times when it's probably useful to be sober.
Yeah.
For example, when you're handling toxic chemicals or doing brain surgery.
Yeah, driving a car at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Don't really want people's inhibitions lowered.
Yeah.
I've got one or two more thoughts.
Okay.
I've got these all jotted down. Should Martin and Annika have got together again at the end?
Oh, interesting.
Should Annika forgive him? Should he forgive her?
We should all be forgiving. As in, if we don't forgive, then we will live in hatred all our life.
All right.
I'm with Fernando. Yeah.
That makes that one easy. Great.
Yep.
I guess there's an argument against, which is that it clearly wasn't working for years and years. But I like the idea that, it wasn't too late for them. They clearly did love each other. What do you think?
Wait, let me just rephrase what I just said. I think that forgiveness and them getting back together are two disjoint things. I think that you should definitely forgive even if you do not get back together.
Yeah, okay. Do you think they should have got back together?
Well, that's a personal decision, right? I think that they should analyze their situation and decide whether they want to get back together. But from
so if you were Martin, would you want to?
If I were Martin, I would want to get back with Annika. And if I were Annika, I would also want to get back with Martin. But that's because of the few things, my very limited experience with that couple. But obviously they've been a lifetime together, so they would be in a better position to make that decision.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you think so?
So you know me, I always want the boy and the girl to get together at the end of the film. And I want everyone to, live happily ever after. But there's a few slightly fucked up things that I didn't like. I'm worried about Annika.
When he was being aggressive.
When he was being aggressive, so that it was just a moment. What wasn't it? What did he do? He sort of threw the table, kicked the table away from him, which is, pretty unacceptable.
But he did then remove himself from the situation.
He then removed himself from the situation. We were to think he had never done anything like that before. And it was only on receiving the news that his wife had been having an affair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he perhaps is in a position where he could be forgiven, if not excused. But then I'm worried about Annika from the other side, partly in the sense that, well, she cheated on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care if you think he's boring. She can't just go and sleep with someone else. And then, like, when he actually asked her about it, her response was something like, well, I couldn't just wait for you forever, which was such a lack of responsibility that she was taking. Like, it wasn't her fault, which just seemed quite wrong. But that maybe hinted towards, like, other problems she's having. And again, I thought at the end there, like, when we'd just seen just this glass of wine that she was knocking back a bit heavily, I thought it was going to turn out that those texts she was sending were basically drunk dials, that she was alone at home, wasted, just, like, crying on her second bottle of wine, and just doing the thing that people do, which is grab your phone and text someone that you had previously decided to get rid of. And I thought it was going to end up that this was not actually the beginning of a relationship, but it was her just having problems, basically. And so those would be my, like, my uncertainties about it.
I mean, that is the end that you've written a bit.
But it seemed like that was what they were hinting towards, though.
Maybe.
The way the text was structured, like, after saying so firmly, I don't want to have anything more to do, like, all I want to do is discuss practicalities, this is never going to happen, to, like, the sort of 5-word text saying, I miss you too, it didn't seem like a well thought through, responsible start to a relationship.
Well, you know the Danes. They're very direct. No frills.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just my thought. As you say, we don't know that was the case, but it didn't feel right somehow. But apparently there was a lot of cheerful stuff in this film that I was overthinking, so...
Maybe we should all get drunk and watch it.
Yeah, why not?
Then we'd be having fun along with them.
Yeah, I think it would seem a lot more fun.
Why don't we run an experiment, get drunk, and then re-record this episode to see if it's an even better episode?
Yeah!
Oh, that's a good idea.
What are you doing later?
What time is it for you, Fernando?
It is 11:48 in the morning.
Oh,
Perfect.
You only have to wait 12 minutes then.
Yeah. That's the rule, isn't it?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
And it is 5 in the UK.
Yep.
I've got one more thought.
Oh, yeah.
My final thought. Laban for best animal.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
precious.
What a cute
Who's
old
Laban?
dog.
The dog.
The dog that couldn't pee on its own.
Oh, yes.
But just seems so good-natured and so nice.
I needed them to show that dog off the boat.
Yeah, that was a concern.
I mean, I know we can assume that because they found the boat, that the dog is fine. I'm sure the dog is fine, but it would have been nice to see the dog at the funeral.
So.
Oh, yeah. I like that dog. That was a good dog. She's a good boy.
I think maybe the dog didn't come off the boat.
You don't think the dog came off the boat? Oh, no.
I think the dog was too sick.
Oh.
I think maybe it was an act of kindness to take the dog with him.
But the dog was on the boat.
We saw the dog on the boat after he was not on the boat.
Oh, did we? Oh,
yeah,
I don't remember that.
Do you think
the
he
dog was
killed
sort of
himself?
standing there on an empty boat.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I thought it was like he'd fallen off by accident because he was drunk.
I thought it was very deliberately unclear.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, you thought he committed suicide?
Yeah.
There are a lot of interpretations to a lot of things in this film, we're finding out.
Yeah, he was so depressed. He was so unhappy.
Oh, I thought he was just... No, wow. I don't think he would have taken his dog out.
He'd lost his job and it was all,
That is
I thought it was an accident.
Interesting. I also thought it was an accident, but my mother thought he was committing suicide as well.
Oh, right.
Right. Did you watch this with your mother?
The first time when we were at the cinema, but this time I watched it alone.
Okay. I see. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt it now. I don't think he would have just left the dog on the boat.
It seems unlikely. But maybe he did intend to, I don't know, maybe his intention was to just get really drunk and not care what happened and kind of commit suicide. I don't know. Interesting. It's ambiguous, like a lot of the other things in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a problem film. There's a lot I don't know about.
Yeah.
But maybe they did that well. There was a lot of questions. And it was worth discussing.
One thing is sure, which is that Mads Mikkelsen is a sweet angel.
He's good. I'm going to need to see some more Mads Mikkelsen.
You will. You certainly will.
Oh, good. Can't wait. I don't have any other thoughts.
No, I don't think I do either. I think we've done... I mean, I know we normally do a separate... Feels wrong not to do symbolism, but we've done so much, maybe. Or have we? I don't know. I think we have.
I can't think of anything else to add.
I don't have anything either.
Well, who is Jesus Christ?
A good question.
Tommy. He died for their sins.
Yeah.
Who is Moby Dick?
There was a lot of water, wasn't there? They were on the sea.
It was in Denmark, so...
It was the fresh cod. They were
crazy
trying to get fresh cod.
They were obsessed for that period of time.
For 3 or 4 minutes there was nothing else they could think of.
Yeah.
I also tried to play the game this morning when I was in the shower of who we would be, but it just doesn't match up. I can't think. None of us really fit those personalities, to be honest.
Yeah, who gets to be Nikolai's wife?
I think we would each have to be one of the 4, would we not?
Yeah, there's 4 characters.
Maxie Martin.
No.
But I think I'm more likely to be Nikolai.
Do you think? Why?
Yeah. Well, I've got a beard and I'm sort of That's not the impressionable.
Game. It's not who has a beard.
That's true. No, he reminded me of me because he was sort of swept along with things and making a lot of noise but didn't really know what he was doing.
Nikolai was running the show. He was the one writing it all up.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. That's why it's me, because he's sort of leaping it into it a bit but doesn't really know what's happening. And he's kind of following what he was watching Martin with wonder and be like, wow, I'm going to do one of those. I'm going to drink twice as much, and it just didn't work out at all. Clueless Nikolai with a lovely beard.
Yeah, I guess none of us really want to be Tommy. Tommy was the sad one.
Tommy was the sad one.
Although he did inspire those children, and he kind of had a good
spit.
And he was a good dancer. He was always dancing. He was game for anything. A bit forlorn at times, but like Tommy.
Do you know, I think I might be Tommy.
Do you think?
Oh.
Yeah.
I would have put you as Peter, I think.
Peter.
But I can't say why. The musical man.
Oh, I have zero musical talent.
Not for the music reason.
Not for
I don't know why. He just seemed the most together. But was cheeky.
And you don't have a beard, so...
And you don't have a beard, so you pass the beard test. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway,
yeah, it's almost like it doesn't really work. I suppose we've not compared it to the previous film.
Go do that.
Princess Mononoke. Not very similar films.
No, there was a sliding scale of destruction and balance.
Oh, balance.
Balance. Yeah, and
well
balance.
Done.
Oh, that's the.
Yeah, and he had the evil running through him in his arm, didn't he? That was taking over a bit at a time, and it was growing. Eventually, it was going to destroy him, but also it gave him, unbelievable strength and courage at times. Yes.
Oh, yes. God, there's lots of overlap here. Brilliant.
Basically the same film. Yeah, nailed that one. Good stuff.
What a good song at the end. Sorry, that's just my last thought, which is that I might actually listen to that. I found it very... It stirred me. I wanted to dance.
Yep.
Wait, the song at the end was also the song at the beginning,
right?
Yes,
that's right.
Uh-huh.
Well, shall I play the music?
I'm ready.
I'm also ready.
I'm ready.
Three, 2, 1. Rock.
Scissors.
Oh, well done, Fernando. Have you got a film you've chosen?
I do have a film. Let me just check my film list. Where is it? Films. Yes. So the film that I'm choosing for next time is, unfortunately, perhaps most likely not related to Christmas. But it is called My Own Private Idaho, 1991.
Ooh.